everybody for joining us. I'd like to introduce Melissa Pirro. She is a former Bermudian Springs High School English teacher who has a lot of professional development on her VITA, and she also is now working for the LIU12. And I just reached out to her to ask if she had any tricks up her sleeves she could offer to ag teachers, and she is a big supporter of FFA as well. So she's here to share some EdPuzzle tips and tricks for us. So go ahead, Melissa.
Great. Hi, everybody. It's great to be here. The ag is one of my, I grew up in New Jersey and I didn't know what a cow was. Like, beef came to me before, you know, in plastic, wrapped in plastic. And then I moved and started teaching at Bermudian, and Diana was one of the people who said, come hang out with some of the ag kids. And they've been a spot in my heart ever since. So I'm glad to be here and I'm glad I could help out. I dropped in the chat a one-pager that I made about today. I did not make a PowerPoint presentation. What I want to do is actually walk you through what EdPuzzle is and how it works. So I'm going to share my screen, and feel free to drop questions in the Q&A box, and we'll make sure that I answer them as best I can. This is the one-pager that you'll see. Anything that's yellow is actually a hot link. And we're just going to work through EdPuzzle. I discovered EdPuzzle a couple of years ago at a conference that I went to called Keystone Technology Integrators. And what it is an online account where you can actually embed questions into videos. So it's a really great way for distance learning. I incorporated it a little bit in my classroom as an option for students who might have been absent. I actually videotaped my class and dropped questions in there. So I wanted to show it to you because it's a really, really cool tool. So you can log in using your Google. I'm already logged in using mine. For the free account, you can actually hold about 20 videos at a time. But when you log in, you actually log in, and if you look here on the left-hand side, it says Lincoln Intermediate Unit. So if I click here, I can see all the other teachers, any other videos, any of the teachers in my district and in my building have actually put together. So if you've got 2 or 3 ag teachers in a building, you might have 20 or 40 different videos that you can sort of share between the 2 of you. My content here right now is only 2 videos. A TEDx, Leading with Lollipops, and this Honey, How It's Made. So what you do for this account is that the first thing you can do is create a class. So if you have students in a Google Classroom roster, that's the easiest way to actually pull them in. I have a test class here, and right now I have no students in it, but it's in progress. You can see that there's a course here. I'm going to add a new class. And I'm just going to pull them right in from my Google Classroom. Ooh. Of course, that's not working. I'm not sure why that's not working, but I'll pull my test class. You can actually pull when you click on Google Classroom. It'll ask you which course you want to pull in, and it pulls in all of the students. So let's create an assignment. I'm going to go back to EdPuzzle, and I want to search content. My content here on the left shows me what I've got in my thing, but it gives you a whole bunch of different places to go searching for things. My favorite is YouTube. I very much like YouTube because it has closed captioning in it. You can students can close captions. If you have anybody hard of hearing or you think that it's not clear, the closed caption option is there. So you can search anything you want in here. We're going to talk how to make honey, and it'll search how bees make honey, and you can actually search in here for any of the ones that you want. If there is a video here, chances are it's because somebody picked it and has done things with it. Let's see, I have a question. I have a question about it working with other LMS systems. I'll get to that. It actually works with Canvas, Schoology, Moodle, and Blackboard. Those options are also there for you. And I gave you a link on the one pager to all the questions that EdPuzzle can answer for you as well. So what I want to do is I actually want to start in YouTube because I didn't like anything that I found there. So I'm just going to go to YouTube right now and I'm going to search YouTube. But I already added, right here, if you look in my upper right-hand corner, I have a EdPuzzle Chrome add-on. The link is in the one-pager. If you link into this, you can actually search for anything that you want and like how honey's made. I picked this one, Discovery UK, because it's from the Discovery Channel. So I thought it probably has good, good options. But what happens when you use the add-on is that right here you get this button that says Edit with EdPuzzle. So I can find the video I want in YouTube, and instead of having to log it in or drag it into YouTube, I can just click right here and it opens my EdPuzzle and gives me the window. So I'm right here and I have the video right in front of me. What you're looking at is the cut option. So if this video, however long it is, I think it's 4 minutes, almost 5 minutes, you can actually cut the video down. If there's parts in it that you like, parts in it you would prefer, you can cut the video.
And pagan celebrations.
Ooh, pagan celebrations. So I'm just gonna cut the video. I'm gonna cut the first 40 seconds off it. And this gives me this cut here. Okay, you can add voiceover to it. So you can play the video and add yourself talking over it if at any points you need to. Sometimes I found a video about bees and it had all words and no sound. So it's a really good place to add your own personal voiceover if you need to for instruction. And then you can add questions. And here under questions, you have 3 options. You have a multiple choice option, you have an open-ended question option, and you have a notes option. The notes is just a written comment or an audio note, so you can clarify things for students, or you can offer two questions. So I'm gonna drop right here. I'm gonna add a multiple choice question. I click on it, I can ask the question. I'm gonna say, what is the beekeeper using right now? And my first choice is just bees. And so you're gonna put your options in and you're gonna pick which is the correct answer and you save it. And how it looks on the video is you can see where you put your question, right? And so we play it.
Hive with smoke from burning pine needles, a scented warning that foreigners are about to enter the hive. Inside the hive are wooden frames hanging side by side, each holding a honeycomb.
And when we get to this point when the students are watching, that'll come up with, that question will come up for them, okay? You can add, let's go a little further in. I'm gonna add an open-ended question here. And I'm gonna save it. I can add as many questions in this, within this window as I want. I'm going to go here then to finish. And that saves my, that saves my video, right? So when the kids get there, they can see and they can choose their questions. They can actually rewatch, they can skip, or when they answer a question, they actually have to hit submit. And what's really, really neat about this is when you go back to content and your content, you can see that I did one, you can see which ones have questions. This one doesn't because there's no little teardrop. This one here does because there's 2 teardrops. There's 2 questions or notes there. And into my grade book, this is where any of my classes would actually appear. And in my classes, for example, is this TEDx. So let me go into content and actually add, there it is. I'm gonna actually assign this. So then when I click on it again, I get some options. I have assign, edit, duplicate, or delete. If I didn't like it, I could get rid of it. If I wanna edit it, I click edit and it will edit, it can edit other, I can edit the questions. I can actually pick this woman, Debbie Upshaw, I do not know her. She used it, there's 4 questions on hers. Maybe her questions are better than my questions. So I'm gonna look here and decide, if I click on it, it tells me what questions are actually there. I like hers much better than I like mine.
called glucose and
I like her questions much better than I like mine. So I'm going to assign hers and not mine to my class. If I like those questions, but I want to add new questions, I can just make a copy of it. And if I make a copy, then it allows me to add my own questions. I'm going to assign it. I'm going to assign it to my test class. I can give them a due date. It can be done by tomorrow, and I save it. Okay, I can click on prevent skipping. I can turn on closed captioning. I always turn on closed captioning for students. I know sometimes for me, I like closed captioning. And then I hit assign. Okay, and so there it is in my folder. And if I had a list of students, they would all be here. Under questions, I can see the questions. And then when students actually begin answering those questions, the questions come up, the answers come up underneath the questions, and I can see who exactly has finished and who hasn't. I can share the assignment to other teachers, or I can delete the assignment. So there's lots of really cool toys that are sort of available in there. I can see the responses. What else is in here that I want to show you? A big question that I get a lot is, well, can I make my own content? You absolutely 100% can. All you need to do is create a video. You can create a screenshot or create a video. If you dump it right into your Google Drive, if I wanted to upload new content, all I have to do, bear with me please, is it my content? I'm going to click add content. And when I click here, I'm going to have the choices to create a video, upload a video, create a student project, or create a new folder. I can folder all of my videos in here if I want. So if I go to upload a video, I can choose a file directly from my computer, or I can upload a file from my Google Drive. If you have a movie in your Google Drive, you need to make sure that you have that open to share for anyone who can see the link, or at least to your domain so that the kids who are logged in can use it. There's a question here in the chat about, does it grade the multiple choice questions for you? It does, because you mark them right or wrong. So as long as your answer key is correct, it will correct them for you. If I wanted to create a video, it brings me to all of the popular channels and open videos that are available, things on YouTube, and I can search here in the upper left-hand corner for the search content and find what I'm looking for. And that starts me out. EdPuzzle, YouTube, Khan Academy, National Geographic, TED Talks, Numberphile, Crash Course, all of these are popular and options, but you can get them from anywhere. I've also found them in Vimeo as well. But if you have your own, they do have to be either on the hard drive or in a Google Drive somewhere. My plan today, and I think everyone is muted. Kevin, is it possible to take questions from the room? Because what I want to do, what I'd like everybody to do, is actually go ahead and go to EdPuzzle and kind of play, because it's sort of a program. I'm going to stop sharing my screen for a minute. It's a really cool program, but it's a program that you sort of have to play in. And you all know your content. I grabbed that honey stuff because we've got tons of bees right now. My lavender is going crazy. And my son keeps asking me how we make honey. But I thought that would be a really good sort of opportunity for everyone to play with it, and me be here to ask questions, because it's just that kind of program. The other thing I did want to show you all is that EdPuzzle, and I just use EdPuzzle. I'm not a fancy, I don't have any kind of like fancy connection with EdPuzzle. I just like it. But they do have a teacher support website where it answers all kinds of questions for you, including LMS integrations. So here's the list of LMSs it integrates with, and it will explain to you how to do so, which I thought was fantastic. You can export grades right to your LMS. which is also, again, fantastic. I'm having this problem. I can't import my Google Classroom. So I'll have to go into my Google Classroom and get permissions. The IU may not have given me permission to use it, which is possible. I used this when I was at Bermudian Springs. The other thing that's on here is that I left you with on this on this one pager. Where is it? There it is I left you a link here to Richard Byrne is an ed tech guru, and he does a lot of free ed tech, and he actually made videos on how to use all of this so that once we're not here playing with it anymore, you have the option to go back and watch the videos from Richard Byrne so that you know how to use those things. So I'd love for all of you, if you could, to please go ahead, go to EdPuzzle and try and log in and see what you find. And I'm here to sort of answer questions and go from there, because this is a play kind of setup. So I want to give everybody the opportunity to sort of play in there and see if it would be something worthwhile for your kids.
And so I guess I'll just add, Melissa, really quickly, that they can talk if they raise their hand, and then I can give them voice privileges, if you will. So if it's easier to ask a question orally, all you gotta do is just hit that raise hand button, which I think is on the participant window for you, everyone else. And so if you have a question that you'd rather ask orally, I can certainly give you voice privileges.
So I'm going to drop the EdPuzzle link into the chat, so you can all kind of click on there. There it goes. And that should get you in. As long as you have a Google account, you should be able to log in with a Google account. I believe you can log in with any email account. It does not have to be Google. But Google does connect you to your Drive and your Google Classrooms. Does anyone have any questions, curiosities, things you'd like me to open back up and show you? Question in the question box. I'll relink the link to the one pager there too for you. I have a question here. If you don't use Google Classroom, are there other ways to add students? You should be able to add students when you create a class. You can invite them. Let me show you. I'll share my screen again. My son is upstairs. I don't know what he's jumping about. You can invite students. And so you copy, have your students go in, and they actually put in this link through their user email. It's a class code. So you can copy this link, and then you can go to, let's just say a Google Doc. You'll send an email to them, and you'll include this link and say, hey kids, everybody go here. And that'll get them in, and that'll create your roster as well.
We have a question from Miss Anderson next.
It might be too specific for this discussion, so if it is, holler and just say. Our school platform is Schoology, and I know a fair number of the staff members utilize this. Are you familiar with how this integrates with Schoology at all? Like, does grading carry over or not?
I have only ever used it through Google Classroom.
Okay.
That was what I was explaining. No, but that's a great question. And like I said, in the one pager, that's why I linked to, of course I can't find it right now.
That's okay.
In that one pager, that's why I linked to this teacher support, because you can actually click down here to LMS integrations, and all of your Schoology questions are right here.
Perfect, thank you.
Absolutely.
just reshared those links. Melissa, I think you actually accidentally had just the panelist in your chat box.
Oh, did I?
And so everyone should now have the one pager as well as EdPuzzle's page.
Is anyone else finding anything in there that they would like to talk about? Like I said, it's a platform it's not difficult to use. I found it very easy for the students to use as well. One of the things that I do with my questions is I make sure that they're depth of knowledge 3 and 4. The multiple choice are more, kind of check for understanding, but I use higher level critical thinking questions to make sure that they're getting the content. I had someone ask me once, well, can they cheat on the multiple choice? Well, they have the video in front of them and they have the option to go back and watch the video or go forward. Excuse me, just. And the joys of working from home. That's my little guy. So anyway, when we're looking, of course, they can rewatch the videos. If you're talking about kids cheating, you really want to ask, you really want to ask him questions that are going to be a little more critical thinking. Yeah, my son has been trapped with my husband and I, who are both teachers, for the past 4 months. So we were both being teachers and teaching teachers and teaching him. It's been a trip. So is there anyone here on the panel who's actually played in here before, or are you all like brand new to EdPuzzle? In all honesty, if any of you are playing right now and I see a lot of people saying this is kind of cool, I think I'm going to play with it a little bit. Please feel free, jump on here and talk to us. For me, I always think that the smartest person in the room is the whole room. So if you're in there and you're playing, or you just found a video that you think other people in the room might be like, wait, this might be something we really need to take a look at, I'd love to hear it. Any information I can add to my stash of information to bring to other teachers is always great. I'm seeing that a couple people are brand new to it. People have kind of played with it. If you've had students, like your own children, who have used it with other teachers, that's always really advantageous because sometimes the kids know better than we do about how to use it. I do like the option too of being able to see the student view, which you can see how the students view it and you can answer the questions yourself. So there's a question here about videos that are on social media, Facebook, Twitter. You have to go back to the original post for those. I do not think, from what I've played with, that you can actually integrate a Facebook or Twitter video that is directly into Facebook or Twitter. It has to come from a platform that holds something like YouTube. So otherwise I have problems with it.
Quick question for you.
Yep.
to what extent have you been able to make your own movies? Like, I'm thinking, I use we have PowerPoints made all the time, and I was recording my voiceover or myself speaking in those PowerPoints, and then I was having to upload those to YouTube. Is that like, can we skip a step? Can I make those, save them on my computer, hopefully, and just load them directly into this? Or is it easier? Can you project I guess my question is, when you're using that make your own video feature, can you project your desktop and play the PowerPoint and do your video all at the same time?
So if you are in, hold on. So if you are in,
Like, I was looking to skip a step.
right. And if you go to add content and create a video,
Okay.
this only brings you to what's already there.
Gotcha.
You have to make the video in advance, but you don't have to upload it to YouTube. It can be saved to a computer.
Is there a format that's better, like an MP4 or?
MP4 is what it wants to take.
Okay.
That's its best format. I've found
learn how to do that this spring. Save a PowerPoint video as something else.
Yeah, you can do that through PowerPoint. I actually find Screencastify is one of my favorite online screenshot, because you can do things as it's happening and it'll video.
I liked it too, but I was intending to run longer than, like, I might have been like a 16-minute video and it would cut it off or something like that. Like, there is a time limit on the one that I'm using.
There is. There are some schools, a couple of schools I know have, that I've been working with recently, have subscriptions to Loom. And in Loom, you can actually record all your videos through Loom, and then you can drop them through into EdPuzzle as well.
Okay.
So one of the things that's happening among districts is that all of us have all found these really great programs to use, and they're free. But once we start to use them
I don't feel like they'll be free forever. They might have been during the crisis, but
right, they're free during the crisis, which was a smart thing to do, so everybody could play with them. Somebody's saying that Loom is free, but I believe that Loom is their program's called freemium. So like EdPuzzle is free up to 20 videos. If you want to add more videos to your catalog, then you have to pay for the subscription. So we need to start really thinking about with our districts, who's using what and what would be a good investment for the district. You know, if there's a lot of teachers, if your school has introduced you to EdPuzzle, but they're not buying a buy-in, then maybe it's something you need to talk to them about, saying, well, you introduced this to us. We all only have 20 videos. I mean, I, as an English teacher, could put 100 videos up there easy of some of the stuff that I cover. I have 20 videos just in my business communications unit. So we need to start to think about too, you know, where that kind of goes from there. If Loom stays free forever, that'd be great. But I do think it has a maximum amount until you start to pay for it. And I didn't think it was an completely open forum. I may be wrong. Does anybody else have any other questions, comments, anything they've seen right here that they might want to share?
Melissa, I think everybody's involved in creating something. So every time I open mine up, it goes to an at AGED 6800, which was a class. I guess it was like a training class, but
Mhm.
when I click on the 3 bars to the left, it says my classes, and then it doesn't show me the same screen that you showed at the beginning.
So you don't see this screen? Hold on. This isn't the screen that comes up for you?
Nope.
All right. Are you logged in with your Bermudian Google? Is that how
Yes.
you got in through your Bermudian Google?
Yeah. Yep.
If you click on your face in your upper corner, you
Yep.
should be able to click on your profile
Yep.
and see how you're set up in there.
Well, it just has my name and my first and last name. That's all that's in there.
My guess is, did you use this as a class? Were you a student?
Well, I guess because of the tutorial, I think that's what happened.
Yeah, I think that you're in there as a student.
Yeah.
And if I can probably help you jump in as in the teacher function, but that's going to be a little complicated, and we can do it a little later if you want.
Yep, I can connect with you at some point to do that then. Should I just set up a whole new account?
I mean, I wouldn't. You should be able to jump from using it as a student to using it as a teacher.
Okay.
But there's a couple of buttons you have to press because you're in there as a student first.
Okay.
Somebody also put in the chat box that Camtasia Studio is a great resource to do screencasts. I agree. I have access to Camtasia as well. It is a must purchase program, but it does work really well. And if you are working on a Mac, you can actually use, there's a Mac, oh my gosh, the name of it just jumped out of my head. Hold on. Oh, it's QuickTime. That's right. So if you're on a Mac, if you have a Macintosh, you can do QuickTime to actually do screen recording as well.
So for everybody that's working and listening, I attended the distance learning hot topic discussion series the last hour. And we were talking, I know some other people are on there, we were talking about a repository that ag teachers can access to get some things. And since you can share some of these videos, this might be something to consider with that as well. So we're forwarding that idea over to member services to talk about at their committee session tomorrow morning. So if you have any other ideas and you want to suggest some EdPuzzle things, then I would suggest that you contact Krista because she's part of that committee, or anybody else, or if you want to just jump into that committee tomorrow.
I really appreciate everybody popping in at noon. I didn't put a PowerPoint together because I really think this is sort of a play platform. And I do hope that one pager helps you out. My contact information is actually there at the bottom if you have any other specific questions. And please feel free to reach out. Follow me on Twitter. Got all kinds of stuff out there that is available for teachers.
So Melissa, I know that we kind of talked about EdPuzzle, and teachers have been throwing some different things around. We did have a Nearpod. Tomorrow we have another teacher that's coming on to do some things with virtual reality, and I'm not quite sure what Megan has in store because she was using a variety of different digital things for her classes. So we have 2 more sessions tomorrow. If there were 3 things in your toolbox that you had to use as a teacher besides EdPuzzle, what would they be?
Nearpod is one of my favorites. I think it's a fantastic integration program. for teachers as a whiteboard. So that's one of my favorites. I am all things Google. One of the things that I really got into last year in my classroom was hyperdocs. So if you're not familiar with creating hyperdocs, they're fantastic. It's not just a document that has links in it, but it's an actual sort of full day lesson plan that kids can work through projects in. That includes video and informational, and they can answer questions. And it's a great way to sort of put all the things you want them to do on one page. And then one of my other favorites is also Flipgrid. If none of you have ever played with Flipgrid, Flipgrid is a video response. You do not need an app. You can do it on a computer, or you can do it on an app, and it allows students to take video of themselves answering questions. They don't necessarily have to be in the video, but they could be. And it allows them to do really quick video responses, audio responses to questions. And that's one of my favorites, to get kids to just kind of say what they mean, because sometimes they don't write it so well, but they can say it and explain it way better. So those are three of my favorites.
Awesome. I did try some hyperdocs this year and I really like them. So keeps everything on one page, like you said. They can link lots of things. They can go to right where you tell them to go. And I found it very easy, user-friendly and easy to use. I created some for my ag mechanics classes and my ag environmental classes. So I'll probably continue to use them myself.
There's actually a whole website. If you just type in hyperdocs.co, you should be able to get to the website. I'm trying to open mine right now. You can, to get to that website, and it's got all kinds of free samples of hyperdocs on it. Ooh, right now it's coming up in.
I think actually I did go there.
Yeah.
So we're down to about 8 minutes or less. So I'm looking for any other questions or comments to share with Melissa while we have her here to answer any questions you might have, even if it's not related to EdPuzzle. Her LIU experience has taken her away from Bermudian Springs and into a different world, just like we have been submersed. So she's one of a great number of people that we have as resources. So if you have a good question, take the last 5 minutes here and shoot them out so we can get some information. I think too, sometimes it's just the ability to sift through and figure out what works for everybody and what works for the lessons. So
yeah, I'm a big proponent of using what works for you and not what everybody else is doing. Hyperdocs. Somebody just said I didn't know about hyperdocs. They are a great tool. They were a rabbit hole that I played in for a couple of years with students, especially using Google Docs. They can just sort of attack stuff together. It's a really great option. That website, by the way, hyperdocs.co, which I did drop in the chat, all of that stuff is free, and they have all kinds of templates already made for you, which is fantastic. And there's a Facebook page of teachers called Teachers Using Hyperdocs, which is also a great resource to pop in and ask anybody if they've already got things made for something that you may already want to build. There's so much free resources for teachers. We're all sharing so much, cross-curricular within our content areas right now. It's fantastic. So kudos to everybody. Our classrooms have just become global, and I think it's awesome.
can't see anybody but you and Kevin and Mrs. Anderson here.
Yeah.
So I don't know who else is still on, but
There's a bunch of people still on there.
Yeah, they're in the attendee list. If they want to ask a question, they can raise their hand. We can unmute them, or they can ask in the chat box. But
Yeah, I'm going to drop you all in here so we can, if anybody's got questions, you can just. That's everybody. That's everybody.
Dr. Curry, did you get your question answered that you had?
I did.
Okay, because I don't think I saw the answer then.
I think what she said mainly was that you can't, if it's based in Facebook or Twitter, you have to actually export it or find a way to get that video on a more permanent site like YouTube, where there's a place to actually pull in the video.
Yeah.
Because I imagine, selfishly for myself, I do a lot of critical thinking type things with some of my courses.
Yeah.
And I need a video that's, it only exists online. And so,
Right.
or it only exists on a Facebook post, and I want the students to analyze it.
Right.
So that would be a sleek way to do that, but I'm guessing there's a lot of either liability or privacy concerns that won't allow them to do.
Probably.
So one of the things, you get 20 videos, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and so if Kevin has a video, if I use his video, does that count as one of my 20?
As far as I understand it, as long as they're in the same school district setup, then no, you can use somebody else's. Now you can't edit it. If you want to, if you don't like the questions and you wanted to change the questions, then it becomes one of your videos.
So if I use his video though, and the kids respond, I get their.
Yes, if you assign it, you get their stuff.
Okay.
That's how I understand it. I have not gone over my 20 because I knew I had that window, but I didn't seem to have a problem.
Okay.
When I went past that.
We could pick a handful of teachers to create their 20 and then share them out and then see what happens from different angles. That would be
They also have to be, so Diana, like, I was going to say John, but John Wardle no longer works at Bermudian.
Yes, he's retired.
Yes, he retired. But you do have a cohort now whose name escapes me. My apologies.
Mrs. Weibel, Cheyenne.
That's right, Mrs. Weibel, and you would have 20 each, so you'd have 40 in the Bermudian Springs library that you should be able to switch between.
Okay. Anthony.
Yeah.
This would maybe be a good toolbox idea for a case to create some different videos for the different lessons that we learned at the different sessions in the institutes, and then kind of have those teachers share their case videos for that topic.
Yeah, it would be.
Okay, we're down to 1 minute, so I think I'm going to just take a few moments and thank Melissa for her time and let her go eat some lunch if she wishes. And I know she has a garden that's growing crazy, and hopefully she enjoys her summer. And you all have her one-pager, so if there's any other questions, go ahead and ask, and then we'll head back to our other session.